of the Bible and prosperity, where we are looking at what the Bible actually says regarding our prosperity on earth. What's God's plan? What's God's agenda? What's God's view? What's the Bible's view concerning money, success, and all of that? Tonight, I want to uh, share a few thoughts with us in this thought part. And I want you to pay attention as much as you can. Take your notes, go over your notes, listen to the message over and over again. Everything starts from your thoughts. Everything starts from your thoughts. Your thoughts are very important, you know. So when we talk about prospering, doing well, um, achieving your set goals and exceeding them, achieving your God-given purposes, and delivering your full potential on earth. You need to understand that there is a lot that gets affected by the way you think and what you are thinking about. So there are 20, 21, 22 of us on this call tonight. Let me just ask you, can you truly see yourself doing those big things that you believe you should do? Can you can you see yourself doing those things? Can you see it that like I can do it, I can get it done. With God I can do it. With God I can do it. Do you what kind of thoughts, if we open your head for the past week, what will we find in your mind? If we're able to open your head, your mind, you just open your brain matter, connect it to your mind, and then extract Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just 1 week, not even more than 1 week, not long, just 1 week, the past 1 week. And we examine what you have been thinking. What will we find? Because a lot of times, you see, we feel that it doesn't matter what we think, everything, whatever will be, que sera, sera, whatever will happen, will happen. It doesn't really matter what we think. It doesn't matter. We just, God will do what God will do. But that's not true. You've got to understand that there is a lot about your final outcome in life that starts in your thoughts. In fact, Jesus said, "You have heard, thou shalt not commit adultery." He said, "But I say unto you, he that looks at a woman lustfully to have her in his mind has already committed the act." So Jesus started telling them that, look, thoughts equal action. Thoughts are not intangible, as it were. They're intangible because you can't hold them, but they are real. Thoughts have substance. Are you listening to me? God looked at their hearts and he said the intentions of their heart were constantly wicked. We have to do something about this. They hadn't even done anything. Their thoughts. Are you following me? So you've got to understand that your thinking is important. You cannot think. Let me say this carefully. And I've told you from the beginning, I'm not trying to create covetousness in people. So you need to listen to the first set. So it's not just about money grabbing here. It's about looking at the Bible and explaining to us that there is nothing wrong with having a lot of money. God is not doing this. I've spent time doing that. So if you're just joining, please go and listen to the previous messages. So don't run off saying these guys just trying to make people covetous. No. There's a lot, if you cannot think gutter and then appear in the palace. It doesn't work that way. You can't think low and then fly high. There's a way your thought will always bring your life down to its level. And you know, human beings have been able to turn all manner, I repeat, all manners of disadvantages into success. So there's no excuse for failure. No, there's no excuse. People have been able to do incredible things with incredible disabilities. I'm talking about some people have physically blind people, someone that doesn't have a leg, someone that doesn't have a hand. People have been able to rise above all of that and how? Academics, illiterate. People went to school, people dropped out of school, people finished school, and some that finished school went ahead and did phenomenal things. Some that dropped out went ahead and did phenomenal things. Why? How? What is it about this? What is it about man that means he can actually succeed despite all sorts of handicaps around him? This is where we're going today. It's not muscle, it's here. You know, what do you really believe? What do you truly believe? Do you believe that we're going let me not run ahead of myself. What do you truly believe? When you set your hand to do something, do you truly believe it will succeed? Or you're just trying it? You know, Matthew chapter 9, verse 23, a man brought his son to Jesus and said to Jesus, this boy has, a demon, throws him around, and and then when he brought the man, the boy in verse 20 fell down and was foaming at the mouth. And Jesus asked him, how long has this been happening? And the father said, from childhood. And he said, oftentimes it has thrown him into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But, this is verse 22 now. The man said to Jesus, but if, please follow me carefully tonight. But if, you underline that word, if. He came to Jesus and said, but if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. In the New King James Version, Jesus responded and said, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. The Darby translation kind of breaks it down even further. The response of Jesus. Darby said, Jesus said to him, the quote, if thou can, unquote, is if you can believe. Let me break that out. Darby is an old English, so don't let me confuse you. Darby basically said, Jesus told the man, you mean if I can? No. That if I can is actually if you can believe. That's what Darby said. Darby explained that Jesus told the man, that if you can that you are talking about, that if is not on me, it's on you. If you can believe, all things are possible to him. And I've told you that you've seen men do crazy things because they dared to do it. Either nobody told them they couldn't do it or they didn't listen to the ones that told them. Why do you constantly remove yourself from the big talks and then you expect big results? I don't understand. So I was hanging out with some of my friends that they're doing okay. Took some photos and um, I posted because I've started trying to get myself into this habit of posting. This was months and months ago. I posted it. Then one of my close kids that I'm mentoring, said, "Oh, you guys, you are the big guys, or we're just struggling here." Something funny like that. So I called this person and I said, "I don't understand. Why do you think there is an exclusive club for certain people, and because it's exclusive, you are excluded? So when you talk, you use funny pronouns like, oh, it's them or it's they. They are the ones that I was in a meeting today and the man was saying something along those lines as well. It's them. You've removed yourself and you've kind of subconsciously accepted that this is you, that is them. And that will repeat itself as a cycle as long as you hold on to it in your thought. There is no human being on earth, I think, that I can feel intimidated by their achievement. I can celebrate the achievement. I can even be like, wow, almost overwhelmed. I'm like, what? This is crazy. And I will celebrate that achievement and be like, how did you do it? I could be awed by it. But to conclude that it's because that person is in a class of you've got to be mad because that person is a human being. That's why I said human. If the person is not a human being, then okay, fine. But as long as the person is a human, there is no human being that has achieved anything that once it has been achieved, it means man can do it. It means man can do it, and the person is a man. So don't exclude yourself from the commonwealth of humanity. There is the commonwealth that God gave to all humans. And I'm not talking about even people that believe God. Some of them don't even regard God. Where do you place yourself on the ladder of life? We're talking about Bible and prosperity here, the prospering thoughts. It says, what's in your mind? What your life, your thought life? It controls you. It makes you see opportunities or miss opportunities. Where do you place yourself on the ladder? Now, I'm not saying presently, anybody can start from anywhere. I was somewhere the other day and they were talking, and they weren't talking just about the present, they were talking finite future. And the kind of things they were saying got me really worried because they'd sealed their thinking. I remember myself and Chooks went for um, um, some training several years ago uh, in project management. So let's just go and listen to all these people. What is this thing? And the interesting thing was that the convener of that project management program kept saying something almost every single day we went. The cap, you want to get that big job, that 400. I think I can't remember whether it's 450 or 500 pounds per day or something like that job. It was something along that line. That was, she kept hammering it. That if you want to get that 500 pound a day job, you want to get to that peak. This is how you do it. You've got to go. And I kept discussing with Chooks that I don't understand. Why does this person think that the peak, or why do you think someone's limit is 500 pounds a day? We know people that earn 1,000 pounds a day. People earn 5,000 pounds per day. People earn 1 million. Footballers earn 600,000 a week. So I just don't understand. So I would say, I was like, what's wrong with this woman? Did she think we came here because we wanted to be looking for 500 pounds? I mean, I would do with 500 pounds a day any day. Any day. It beats nothing. Don't get me wrong. And if you are giving me that per day now, you try, man, a woman you be. I'm not saying no to it at all. But you see, that was the limit that was set all through, as though that was the peak. And everybody in that place seemed to agree that, once you get that, you are done for life. And many times in life, this is how we allow our thoughts to hold us captive. I remember when my wife first came into the UK, um, and I had a little bit of money then. Said, "Oh, just chill a bit, let's just, have some fun, just chill, relax, learn the system, and then you can go to work maybe after a month or two or three and stuff like that." But there was a particular lady that was, on her case that she needed to get her leg, she needs to get her feet in the system. That you have to get into the system. You have to get into the system. And the lady said, "Look, don't worry." Now, again, this is no disrespect because you may be working there. Said, even if it's, you know, Tesco's or Sainsbury's, you just get something going into the system, just get some money. And then she said, "Oh, how much are you looking to earn?" So someone mentioned the figure, and the person thought she was mad. That you've got to be, I think she said maybe £65,000 or something like that. Coming fresh from Nigeria. Says 55,000, 65,000. This was, she came, how many years ago did she come into this country now? We're looking, what, 2007 or so? In 19 years now, so it's 18 or so years ago. When she first came. And she mentioned that figure to the person. She had told me about the figure, and I said, no problem now. We just asked the question, what do you need to do to get that kind of figure? What kind of jobs? How do you match it? Simple. I didn't feel intimidated by any figure or any number. First job, she told this person said, "You've lost your mind." Tried to convince her, just pick, if you get a 21, if you get 18,000, whatever, just take her. So after they sowed that seed into her own mind, by her own admission, she's the one that told me. So she's on the call. So I'm sharing this as a testimony. So let's be clear, just as a testimony. By her own admission, she now reduced that thing from, I think maybe it was 65,000 or something. She reduced it by about 10 grand or something. I can't remember, about 10 or 15. She dropped it just a bit. Okay, maybe I should just do 55 or 60K or something. I can't remember the actual numbers, but something around those numbers, those figures. She dropped it a bit, which is about twice what this person said. Just go and take a job. And then we talked. And she's like, they said in this place, I said, don't mind them. We don't mind all this they said now. Don't mind all this they said. They say London is a leveler. This is a stupid statement. Does that mean if I come in as a lion, you will level me and become a lizard? I will find my level. Now that's what it means. When I come into the UK, I find my level. Whatever level I am, I find it. I'm not going to reduce my level to the level that I am not. I won't come into London and stop being a man and change into a woman. Well, some people try to do that, but I'm not going to do that. You see what I'm saying? I said, stick by it. And she stuck by it. And the very first job she was ever going to get delivered exactly that first job from Nigeria. Delivered, I think for 50,000 or 40 something, 49 or 50 something, I can't remember. First job. Some people still struggle to earn that, even though the minimum wage is, but that's a lot. First job. No UK experience. You better be careful who you listen to. You will come in and you associate with this particular tribe of people that all they want to do is a particular kind of job. And they throw you in there. And you can't sit down and say, look, what exactly? You see, value. I'm going to talk about value maybe today or next week. You have to understand what value is. You don't know that a lot of times you determine how valuable you are. A lot of times. Now, if you place so much value on yourself and they find out that you are just empty, that can create problems. But a lot of times, it is people who have to find that out after you have told them how valuable you are first. You can place value on yourself. And I've seen it happen many times. I have discussions with a number of my close brothers and friends. And we're like, these people that are, they're not smarter than the average person now. Some of them will say some of the most ridiculous things you've ever heard before. But they are prospering in finances. And you know, you're not being proud, but you know that when it comes to intelligence, like for like, at least academic intelligence, like for like, these guys are light years away. You are light years away from them. Yet, they can sponsor you on 10 holidays in a year. Why? What's the difference? So we'll talk about the God factor. The race is not to the swift. But now I'm talking about you, your thought factor. What's the quality of the thought that you produce? Where do you place yourself? The rich people is them. Don't say that around me. We rich people. I can we who are what do you mean the rich people? And you don't relate with people based on what kind of money. I'm comfortable with extremely well. In fact, I traveled recently and I went the extreme. I don't even know how I do it at times. I went extreme, the extremes. This today I was being chauffeur driven and God knows I don't want to start talking about the crazy expensive, right? The next I was in the car is probably, I don't know how to describe it. And I was visiting a friend that, their thing was like that. It didn't mean it didn't change anything in me as it were. I'm comfortable with relating with people that have and relating with people that don't have. Because the people that have at a point obviously didn't have, they also grew with. I would expect. So I'm not saying that you get yourself into a class where you can't relate to. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in your mind, you should not see figures as somebody say £1,000,000 and you want to have cardiac arrest and die. Money that some people burn in over frivolities. I was with some guy and he told me that, I won't mention the name. There's this young fellow that we know that he saw his account, and in his dollar account, he had about $12.5 million in cash there. This was a few years ago. And then this guy, they didn't make their money through legitimate means, by the way. So I'm just saying figures. Figures. I said, wow, that's interesting. No, that's not an interesting thing. So eventually, the arms of the law caught up with him. And then while he went away, he came out, last year, thinking, okay, I have crypto account with a nest egg. By the time he came out, one of them, had also taken his whatever access somehow his crypto account and cleaned it out. $60 million. This is a 35. I mean, that's proceeds of unrighteousness. We understand that. What I'm saying is this, and then I was with somebody else who's doing business, and they're mentioning 100 million, 250. Those are big figures, big figures. I don't have $200 million, so don't get me wrong. So don't send me any request. I don't have any 400 million, whatever. But what I'm saying is this: the figure should not scare you and say it's just for some people. And I'm not saying you should desire. If it's not what you want, it's fine. But what I'm saying is this, and hear me very well: there is nothing you desire in life, good thing that you desire in life, that you should feel you are not qualified to have. That you should feel is just for certain people. No, they did not make the good houses for only certain people. They did not make good clothes for only certain people. And if they did, you are part of those certain people. So stop removing yourself in your mind to this thing. It's just, no. Think big. It takes the same energy to think big, to think small. It's not different brain. It's the same brain. And anywhere you are, you must always see yourself at being at the top. I can't speak to any other person. Any person with the search, your mind must always be, you are part of the ones that will influence the things, that will make things happen. You are part of that crew. Full stop. Now, if that's not what your desire is and that doesn't strike any, that's fine. But we are sent to those people that will take over, not taking sides. No, we are taking over. And you've got to have it in your mind. And you have to, when you have that in your mind and you are thinking like that, you have the quality of your thought are so good. It's so good. The quality of your thought is the quality of your thought is so good. Let me not speak useless English here. It's so good. Is you think it, you can. It's possible. Nothing is hard for me in this place. If you are a career person, I want to be the managing director. I want to be that. Whatever it is, it's easy. It can happen. What do I need to do? You should be thinking those thoughts. Don't just think I will always be here. And once they give me my 60,000 pounds, I'm fine for life. No, you are not. Because Reverend Sam said something today. The reason you are is because you think your life is about you alone. How many people can you help with 60,000 pounds a month or year salary? How many people can you help? Can you genuinely help? Apart from your family? Even your family, you may not be able to help them depending on what kind of expense you are incurring. He said something, I heard it about 2 weeks ago, he repeated it today. He said, your life is too small to be the purpose of your life. Break that down. Be thinking about it. Your life is too small to be the purpose of your life. So it's your life is not just for you. You are too small to be the purpose for your life. But when you see that, if I just have that 60,000, I put this one aside, I send my children to school. That's you. You are thinking small because you are self-centered. You are all about you. No, when you break out of that mold and you understand that there are millions of people you can influence, and you understand that you need real substance. Now we want to have the outpouring. You are earning 45,000, 50,000, 60,000, 7,000, whatever you are earning. But that's just about, I talked about the different levels of provision. That's just about enough. That's just enough for you and your family. How can you help? We had an outpouring the other time. I know a lot of people wanted to give, but they didn't have the money to give. You are listening to the message now. Start thinking. So come and give. You give your 20 pounds, is fine. You give your 10 pounds, is fine. When we do next year, and you are still giving the same 10 pounds and 20 pounds, there's something you should have this godly dissatisfaction when things don't change. Part of the reasons I traveled. No, things cannot remain in a particular way. We've got to trigger changes. It has to happen in your mind. I want to be able to single-handedly fund the outpouring, not the one we had last year, the real outpouring where we are spending 100,000 pounds, not because we don't throw money away, but we're spending it to get to people, get people saved, healed, delivered, and we're doing it world class from my pocket. Not that I'm asking for anybody. No, that's what I'm thinking. So when I go out there and I'm trying to create wealth, it's not just for, I want to first have so we can live a good life as a family. But that's not I was telling somebody, when was it? 2 days or 3 days ago. That's not my motivation. Because I know that if I have so much that I can help others, it means that my family end is covered. I always see it. I see pastors that I'm like, this man doesn't have a car. Let's buy him a car. You can't do that when you are stuck in your mind in a particular cycle and you can't see yourself. If you have come into this UK, and I think all of us came, I think, okay, some people were here long. But so if you have come in, don't settle into that thing that you just go to work and do all that, and that's it for. Don't settle for that. Don't settle for it. There is more that you can do with your life and with your mind. Why is there more? Why? All of that one is introduction. Why is there more? Because of the blessing of God that is upon human. In Genesis chapter 1, turn there quickly. Genesis chapter 1. Please follow me carefully. Don't let anybody think your job is your life. It's where you are. It's not the be it all. We need to thank God for what we have, but we need to understand that there is always more. That's not greed. There's always more. Look at what God said in Genesis 1, verse 26. Let us make man in our image. And after our likeness. And let the man that we make, let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over everything that creeps on the earth. And God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Verse 28 is where I'm going. Then God blessed them. That's mankind. He blessed them. Please listen to me very well. God blessed them and said, whatever is about to be said becomes the basic operating system in all humanity, because God is now blessing humanity. To bless means to pronounce something that brings about an empowering. That's the way I want to analyze this blessing here, because he blessed them by saying something, and because whatever God says cannot but become what God says. So I said last week in passing that the blessing is often tied to speeches, to something that God said. When that man Jacob and Esau, when Isaac was going to bless the sons, he didn't bless them by giving them money. No, they came for the blessing. What was the blessing? They weren't fighting over the properties. They were fighting over the pronouncements. Because there is something about a pronouncement that is coming from a place of authority. That means that pronouncement becomes self-fulfilling when you take that pronouncement and walk with it. So God blessed, Isaac blessed and said. He didn't just say, I bless you. Some people just come around, they don't even understand. They say, oh, I bless you in the name of the Lord. What does that mean? You can't just say, I bless you in the name of the Lord. No, there has to be something that you express clearly that translates in, that explains that blessing. So when people come and say, I bless you in the name of the Lord, it doesn't have any meaning. No. When he says God blessed us, he didn't say, he told us how and with what? With all spiritual blessings. What are those spiritual blessings? Read the preceding verses. It was clear what he spoke concerning us. What is clear, what has been done concerning us. So when you say, I bless you, you are just wasting your time. When God blessed them, he didn't just say, I've blessed you. No, the Bible says God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. That is the operating system in every single human being that was called forth from eternity, from way past, and that will exist in perpetuity. God said it. Be fruitful. And from that time, capacity was delivered into man. This is why mankind has been able to do phenomenal things, whether you're a Christian or not. Now, when you are now born again, you are on steroid level. You are supposed to now be on steroid level operations. Steroid level operation. I don't understand what we have done to ourselves. God bless them. The blessing. So when I'm talking about your thoughts and your mind, you have to understand the reason why. Why should you not think failure? Because you are a human being, and by what God pronounced on Adam and all mankind, he legalized your capacity, he legalized your success on earth. God he legalized your fruitfulness on earth. Is a legal. He said, "Be fruitful, subdue the earth." So it is a legal thing when you choose to subdue whatever is around you. It's your legal right. It's not a favor. There is a summon concerning us. The blessing is a summon. Like I said, speech is a summon. When God uttered it, any person that says, "I have heard, sir." Now, when he says, "Be fruitful," you can choose not to be fruitful. For example, you can choose not to marry. You can choose not to have a child. You can choose not, you can choose. And you can also allow ignorance not to make you be fruitful, become fruitful. Huh? But the reality is that God has given that summon to everybody. You now decide, I have had the summon. I am thinking the summon. I am now going to walk with the summon. So at the back of your mind, you are not walking to be blessed. You are walking from a place of being blessed. You are blessed first, and you now go and produce. You operate from the position of being blessed. The summon is your concern, is on your life. In Genesis chapter 15, let me quickly close here, and I'll carry on next week. In Genesis chapter 15, God came to Abraham and told him in verse 5, "Lift up your eyes, look at the stars, count them. That's how many your descendants will be." And Abraham said, "How am I going to know this thing?" God said, "Okay, give me a calf." Brought the calf, fire came in, he cut a covenant with Abraham. "So shall thy seed be." And Abraham believed and was counted to him for righteousness. So how is it going to be? There was a, read it in Genesis 15. This is in Genesis 15. God, we were not told how old Abraham was. Please listen to me, don't get distracted. We're not told how old, exactly how old Abraham was in Genesis 15, verse when God told him to count the number of the stars and all of that. But we know that by Genesis 16, when the wife brought in Hagar and all of that story, and he had a child, we know that Abraham was 86 years old when he had Ishmael in Genesis 16. Don't forget, Genesis 15, God already cut a covenant and said, "You are the number of the stars." He said, "How am I going to know?" He said, "Bring the heifer." They brought the animal, cut it into two. They cut it into two. Fire came. There was that covenant. They displayed. God said, "I have sealed this covenant with you. It's finished. It's done." The following chapter, child didn't still come. Are you following me? Child still hadn't come. Went into Hagar, had a child. And we're told he was 86 at this point. Now, the following chapter, chapter 17, says when Abraham was 99 years, God appeared to him again. So at least we know that from the time he had Ishmael, when he was 86, it was 13 full years before the Genesis chapter 17 appearance. And Genesis 17 is where I'm going now. Please follow me carefully. Are you following me? Or have I lost you? Genesis 15 appeared to him first, told him he was going to have children as many as the stars of the sea in the sky. Abraham said, "Okay, how am I going to know?" A covenant was cut. Genesis, the following chapter, Years after, we don't know how long it said between, it must have been between 75 and 85. Definitely not 86, because by 86, he already had a child, Ishmael. Now, the star, the promise of the star was still not happening. 13 years again after this, God then came again to Abraham. Because people are saying, why is it taking so long? Well, God then came to Abraham when he was 99 years. And what did he say to him? God said, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be blameless. It means there's an issue here. Because he didn't tell him that the first time he came. There has been an issue now. Ishmael had come into the scene and all of that. Come on the scene. He says, walk before me and be blameless. Okay, I'll make my covenant between me and you and multiply you exceedingly. Abraham fell on his face and God talked with him and said, listen to what God said. As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. No longer shall your name be called Abraham, but your name shall be called Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. Now, listen to the language. God said, my covenant is with you. I'm not coming to cut a new covenant with you. I did that many, many, many years ago. It is with you. Now, what that means is that we need to look a bit more at our father Abraham, not God. The summon has been on you. I hope you're following me. God, I don't want to say God's covenant is with us because his covenant is with Jesus and we are in him. Now, it is already is done. All that pertain to life and godliness, done. Spiritual blessings in heavenly places, done. Fruitfulness, done. Dominion on the earth, subduing the earth, done. It's now you. So you are operating from the done perspective. God has already said it. I subdued the earth. You can't think otherwise. Don't be feeble. Don't let your language be feeble just because you want. I told some of my kids, there's 2 or 3 of them. I said, you talk too much. You talk too much, and you talk a lot of foolishness too much. Keep your mouth shut. What are you talking about? Don't speak like that. No, you will sabotage yourself. Don't speak like that. Don't. You operate from that position. You are blessed. Your success and prosperity on earth is your legal right. I repeat it. It's your legal right as a human being. Because the earth was not made for angels. The gold was not put in there for cows. The silver was not put in there for camels. The oil was not put in there for angels. No! You are a rightful landlord on here. The summons have been given for your assistance. The blessing is a summon has been spoken concerning you, which means anywhere you go, when you go in the consciousness of that fact that I am blessed, God said fruitful. He is the one that you didn't ask him to tell you to be fruitful. No, he said it and said, this is the blueprint. Multiply, increase, which means anything that is not increasing, there's a problem there. No, we have to increase as the church. We have to increase. If there's a problem there, you have to increase. You have to be fruitful. You have to produce, be productive. You cannot live morning till night, and at the end of the day, you cannot see productivity. I'm not talking about imaginary productivity, real productivity that you produce something today. Are you still listening to me? Next week, we'll talk about 3 basic principles. Um, we've spent the whole of today just talking about thoughts, understanding what we are, understanding our right on the earth, understanding the fact that we are operating from the position of the blessed. That's our position. We're operating from that position. So our minds, your mind must be free from fear. It must be free from limitations. Stop limiting yourself. Stop limiting God. God was telling me about an event that he was telling me that he told me to put together, and he said, don't limit, don't put a limit on me. Don't put a limit on me. Because the reality is this. You want to do an event for 20 people, you want to do an event for 20 million people, it doesn't shake God. To him that believes, all things are possible. We'll round off next week, and we'll talk about just 2 or 3 basic principles. And we want to talk a little bit about value, because you've got to understand the power of this thing of value when you come into a place. Anyway, unmute yourself. Let's pray. Enough of my ranting tonight. Let's